Oh well, hello there. Oh, jeez. Again, clicking into this. Let me back right out of here. Hello and welcome to the stream. Hello, mile marker. I believe that is. I believe that says mile marker. Yeah. It kind of blurs together a little bit, even in the chat window, because I guess the pink on the dark gray. Yeah, blessedly we do get. Oh, hi there, Mark. How's it going, Mark? Blessedly, this first difficulty is pretty simple, but on the other hand, that does mean it's a little boring. Oh No More Lemmings is the expansion pack to the original Lemmings, and they start you out with, instead of 4 difficulties of 30 levels, we've got 5 of 20, and the first is all, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna get a quick look at this. It's all like this. It's all super simple. 20 of every task. Just get to the exit. We're probably gonna finish this in this rank in about less than half an hour. And I am going to abuse the hell out of fast forward, and I'm going to knock this. I'm gonna knock the volume on the desktop audio down a little bit, so that way it doesn't ruin anybody's eardrums. Because all those yippies can be kind of a pain. Yes, that is another thing. The soundtrack of Oh No More Lemmings is only 6 tracks long, but it is also all original music. And most of it is pretty good, in my opinion, especially over here on the DOS soundtrack, which is what I'm using for this. I'm playing this as with Lemmings, not yesterday, but the day before. Yesterday? Jeez, it was very recently. I think it was Thursday. I'm using the engine NeoLemmix, which allows you to select from one of a couple of different types of soundtracks as long as you have them downloaded, but the default is the Amiga version. I think the soundtrack sounds much better with this DOS sound chip style, but that's just personal preference, really. So again, this may be a part where there's not a lot, where I may not say a whole lot here, but you know, I'll try to make this entertaining at least. Very soon we will get into some pretty serious shit. The levels in Oh No More Lemmings are less infamous than the ones in the original Lemmings, but like the original Lemmings is pretty widely considered super hard, and I don't know that I agree with that, although there are some parts that, whoa, little rough. However, the later parts of this game are definitely quite a challenge for the brain and the hand. And I'm not 100% sure how close to any of that we will get today. Again, depends entirely on how much of this I feel like playing. So let's get this going. And we'll let this guy do the thing. This fella, they should be able to step up that. And there was no reason for me to do that back. Are they stuck down there? They sure are. Well, I know how to fix that. This fella might need to float. Do you think? That's right. Yeah. Not a ton going on here, but we do get to see all 4 of the new types of terrain in the Oh No More Lemmings levels. Gone as well are the Cyanosis special levels. They just didn't make any for this game. I guess they kind of were like, it's too easy after the last 20 tame levels. They would pretty much all just fit in here. Even when the architecture got a little little funky on on the regular Lemmings. Like Beast 2 of a level, that would probably still end up in here. Because really, there's not that much going on. And also you can see this level is like really only using about half of the map here. In fact, I'd say it's closer to about a third of the map. You got all this weird looking stuff going on over here that you could do something with. But they decided not to. Why is it so beloved? Nostalgia, I suppose? Like, definitely, I played this game, the original and up to a point, Oh No More Lemmings, quite a bit as a child, so I think that a large part of it is that. It's, of course, a puzzle game of this sort, where you get these X amount of discrete puzzles, has reasonably limited replay value. What also has reasonably limited replay value is my reflexes, apparently. That makes absolutely no sense, and that is just kind of a, that's just kind of a thing for me. And to be fair, for people who have never played this before, there is a lot of challenge involved with this. It's a pretty simple idea that a lot is done with most of the time, but it's gonna take a little bit for me to really be able to show off, oh hey, this engine, this style of gameplay has a lot going for it, because they throw us this at the beginning of Oh No More Lemmings, where it's just, hey, here's 20 levels that you don't really do anything in, basically. Like, the basics are quite simple to keep in mind that I'm also... yeah, this is not something that should be the first experience for a Lemmings player for a wide variety of reasons, and it's a little on the slower side nowadays, too, I would say. There's been some discussion that, like, oh, why hasn't there ever been another of these types of games? And it's regularly said that, yeah, a lot of audiences would consider this very slow, but I do tend to play a lot of slower moving games. Once we get further in, there's gonna be some interesting stuff that I'm gonna at least partially neuter a lot of it because of the whole, we're going to reduce a lot of the challenge with the frame-by-frame action and everything. The Incredible Machine exists. I mean, that is true. I actually have not played any of the Incredible Machine games. That is something that should go on my list of stuff to do at some point, but I admit I probably was... Do you have me on Steam? I don't know. I'll check later. Actually, I think you do. That's true. I've played a lot of this. I am, however, significantly less familiar with a lot of the later parts of Oh No More Lemmings than I am with the original. So there's definitely going to be a couple of places where it's like, wait a second, you know, where I'm going to sound even more awkward and choked than usual. Can I easily do that? I think so. That should work, right? This fella is not necessarily the best person to demonstrate it with, but thankfully the rest of the line came up pretty quickly. Just doing something a little different here. Alright. Level 10. We are halfway done with this part of the game, and we can get into... Oh yeah, I have Contraption Maker. Neat. I think I got that out of, like, a bundle, so I didn't see it at any point. Realize I don't know half of what's in my Steam library, because I just replay the same old games over and over. And I used the wrong skill there. But, again, the upshot, I guess, of the tame levels is that you can recover from goofing up in ways like that. There was absolutely this golden age of Steam sales and Humble Bundle type of stuff where you just could easily get large quantities of games and not know what exactly you had in your Steam library very easily. They did a pretty decently sized bundle recently too, I believe. I just didn't have money to pick it up at the time. Yeah, that one. It's like, I forget what exactly it was called, but I know it was related to the pandemic, because naturally a lot of folks are trying to do stuff like that to, again, continue to discourage people from going outside in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, they turn around here. Okay. Nice and simple. Yeah, somebody definitely gave me bad rats like a million years ago. And that... You know, that's exactly the kind of thing I would expect out of one of my friends to do to me, is just to burden me with bad rats at some point in my life. Bad rats. It certainly exists. The weirdest thing, too, about Bad Rats is the fact that a sequel exists. Like, somebody was like, hey, doing this to people once was not enough. And then the guys, the folks who made that were just like, hey, let's make another Bad Rats, except let's make it even more tasteless. In some regards, making a Bad Rats sequel is pretty tasteless in and of itself, just because it's like, hey, yeah, we're gonna take our awful joke game, and we're going to make fun of the fact that we made one of the worst video games ever by creating a sequel to it instead of filling the world with something good. Granted, I'm also saying this as a person who has, like, an actual appreciation for a lot of bad games, so there is at least some semblance of humor in it, but also there's something kind of crude about, like, taking a game that was bad and being like, hey, we're going to laugh about this. Oh, I'm referring to Bad Rats, and more properly, its sequel, Bad Rats Show. And sort of talking about the fact that there is a point where self-awareness kinda goes a little backwards. Oh, I'm sure there's some, like, really out there solutions for some of these. Because honestly, you kind of gotta do something like that to yourself to deal with the fact that these are as bland as they are. We'll be getting into the good stuff pretty soon. We're on 14, I believe? 14, yes. We'll post a link in Discord. Okay. Cool. And yes, speaking of Discord, I technically do have my own Discord server, but I don't really use it for anything yet, and I don't advertise it for this channel. I've admittedly been a little bit reticent about producing my own community around me, although it's been suggested before. I did make the server because I was like, oh, maybe I'll use it for something one day. And thus far, that has not panned out. Who knows, one day, one of these days. Solve Tame 13 with one builder, back in the DOS version with all of its glitches. And the solution was to create a route to get climbers up the... Give me just a moment. Just a moment to read this, yeah. And the solution is to create a route to get climbers up to the top and use nuke glitch. Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta get around to a bunch of games. Again, I also don't think I realized I had Hollow Knight, so that's definitely gonna be pretty high up the list of things to get to then. Not truly things to get at that point, but things to get to. Let's rewind and just start doing this. Now, we don't have enough climbers to just make everybody climb, so we're gonna have a bit of a little bit of an intersection here. Make yourself a step. That should be enough to... Yes. Okay, well that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good testimonial there, because I know that... Yeah, well, to say the least, a lot of people would consider Okami very hard to knock off of anywhere that high on the list. For my part, I also still have not played that, but I do have the... Do I have the version of that that's on Steam? I don't remember. Again, I will look. I keep thinking about it because I've got a copy of Okami on PS2, and then I'm just like, I got this from somebody still in the plastic, and I haven't taken it out yet. I may want to just get it in a different version to conserve that for a bit, but yeah. You can tell that I'm really bad at keeping up with playing a bunch of video games, to say the least. Does not keep up with my library whatsoever. I know these other video games exist, but I forget. Alright. Only 2 more to go. Pardon me, 3 more to go after counting this one. We are almost getting to, like, actual... Wow, look at me screw this up the same way twice. Yeah, I'm spending most of my time playing the other games that I've already played again, so that'll have its effects. I'm sure everybody else has that too. Like, there's certain games that you just play over and over again. Like, oh, I've got this huge library of things, but I'm just gonna play this game I've played like 10 times before again. Going back to familiar ground, but I did kind of say to myself, hey, I'm gonna put this quarantine period to use where I'll come out of this a more cultured person, in a sense. Of like, oh, I actually know a bunch of stuff that here's a bunch of stuff that I've never watched or listened to or played, and I'm going to take advantage of this time period where I don't, like, where the place I go to play Magic isn't open, basically. We'll put it that way. And yet, here I am, just doing this again. But part of this really is because I streamed Lemmings a couple days ago, and I got a couple of people who were like, oh, been a little bit nervous to bother with this because I'm bad at puzzles, who saw how this particular engine worked and were like, hey, why not? I'll try it out. And then I was like, you know, now I really feel like playing through this too. Just to have this, just to stream this, I guess. Words, hooray, listen to me fail at using them. And also, as I kind of joked about last time, yes, the other game I've been streaming is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and I'm at the part of the game that is probably one of my least favorites. And I don't want to think about it because, again, Tower of the Gods is basically the equivalent to me of what the Water Temple is to a lot of people. So now we start getting into the, yeah, it's the GameCube version to make things even more of a pain in the butt. So here we are finally getting into, like, real puzzle solving. With the first level of Crazy, which is, like... Man, describing things as crazy as sort of a descriptor is kind of super awkward nowadays, isn't it? But this level is called, quote, "That's a good level." This is a lot more of an actual challenge. But this one is kind of burned into my brain a little bit, so we're gonna just breeze through this too, basically. Is that, you see, this is much different. We have a very, very choked set of skills. We have to save all but 2 lemmings. And you'd think, oh, just go through the wall. You can't just go through the wall. Oh, I was in that position as well. But this one is not that hard. We send a lemming over. We got 4 of our digging fellas to just go straight down through these sticks. Don't dig over on the right side. Make sure that you pass the exit going to the left. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to beat the level. And we're just gonna get right up against the wall and bomb that lemming. Again, it's kind of nice, the features of the NeoLemmix. It's able to climb around the yeah, good point. You can just do that. And that's super easy in this engine because, as I mentioned in the last stream, we get a couple of serious quality of life features in NeoLemmix. Like, we have bombers just go off instantaneously instead of the 5-second countdown, which is what you're seeing going on here with the nuke function. Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of it is just like, oh, you go through the regular method so much that it's pretty hard to come up with, like, what am I trying to say here? That you don't usually think about the back routes very much is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so here's a strangely named level called Dolly Dimple. I think this one, yeah, this one is actually another one I remember, so it's going to be a couple of levels before I really start going like, what? But basically, let me lay this out for you. We're going to have one lemming go over this wall, dig through this chunk, and build a drawbridge, basically. Build a security bridge all the way up here so that way these lemmings can get down. Because if they fall from this little tile here, they are absolutely not surviving that. They are going to turn into lemming paste. So we don't want that to happen. But also, we have to do this, where we build one additional bridge over here in order to make sure that when we dig through this floor, the lemmings will be going in the correct direction. Yeah, I do enjoy a lot of puzzle games of this kind. And also, we need to make sure that we're over a little more here, so that way we don't accidentally let the whole horde out this way and just have a an avalanche of lemming goo. Because at that point, that almost would just be like, hey, if we can just do that, why can't we do things the rest of the regular way? So here's where the trial and error is going to come in, is that to get going on this... Oh, thanks a lot, you fucking nerd. That freaked me out a little bit. So, to turn the... We have to turn around and start building in the correct place. And this is where I get really bad, because I'm not sitting over here with a protractor and everything to demarcate my angles and distances and all of that. Can you imagine somebody just sitting here playing this with a whole... just a whole-ass drafting set trying to hash this out? But we got it in one, so maybe I remember this a little better than I thought. Who doesn't have a protractor while playing video games? I mean, you get enough of them in Earthbound, for example, that it's definitely pretty easy to have one in that. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Level 3. Many lemmings make level work. I guess that's supposed to be pronounced a little more like, many lemmings make level work. But I don't know that I have a good voice for that. So this one is easy enough to get the basics of, and again, we are just going to completely neutralize this thing's difficulty by using frame-by-frame motion. Send all of them over the left side. Oh. Well, I didn't know that either, so... The basic trick here is that you have to bomb 2 lemmings in order to reduce the drop distance for all of these guys to make sure that they can get safely to the exit. And since we can just go frame by frame, we're basically skipping over the puzzle. Normally, this level gives me an absolute mess of a time trying to time all of this, because on top of all of that, you also have the fact that in the original, bombers have a 5-second timer. So again, we laughed at this one, but normally that wouldn't be so simplistic. Level 4 is Lemming Express. This one, I like the look of this level. It really does kind of look like a train, right? This one's a pretty easy because it's a very I would say that it's kind of like an archetype level, basically. We get this last lemming to go over here, and I'm really feeling like I overestimated some of this earlier when I was like, oh yeah, like, we'll be 10 seconds into this, and I'll just be absolutely laughing this off. Or getting absolutely wrecked by it, rather, but I'm still over here laughing this off. But rest assured, there's a lot of this I do not remember, so fans of failure, you will have your day in the sun soon enough. That looks okay. Although, of course, there's also the whole part where I'm going frame by frame, so I get a little bit... things get a little bit easier for me here. No, we don't... What we do not want here is that lemming to turn around. Although we might be able to get away with it, it might even be faster. So... yeah, don't expect perfect, at least, I guess is... Well, yeah, we've got more than enough time, because, again, look at how wide this level is. It's wide enough that the minimap in this engine has to scroll. In the original, that's not really a thing that exists. There aren't, like, The minimap functions... Oh. Oops. I got a little overconfident there. Yeah, they must be made of something a little bit on the unpleasant side. It's like some kind of plastics factory or something. Although I do, like, I don't really understand the bubbly tile set, but I kind of like it. It's very colorful. Level 5, 24-hour Lemmathon. This one... Let me see. I can picture the solution in my head, and by that I mean the finished level. Not so much the actual getting there part. We could be in for a bit of a mess here. Not like super messy or anything, but a little bit of me just being like, wait a second, how does this work again? A little more. Alright. So, to ensure that we have a builder working in peace here, we're going to dig through this bridge. And thankfully, our forward does not turn around, otherwise I would feel like a bit of a fool, frankly. Possibly spelt with, like, some sort of extra letters. Just to really, really ram it home. Alright, that wasn't so bad, but I was getting a little bit of the consternation there, because I wasn't 100% sure that I remembered how to make this work. Number 6, the stack. I thought this came a lot later, actually. And it is, for what it's worth, one of the simpler levels in the game once you look at your set of tools. But it is kind of a little bit on the instructional side, I would say. It is instructional level design, basically. It's like that first screen of Super Mario Brothers. There's been, like, a surprising amount of, like, essay writing just about that one little bit of that game. And, you know, I'll just say this, fair enough. I do understand where people saying stuff like that are coming from. It does basically teach you the basics of the game pretty simply. Oh, the very, very beginning of World 1-1 of Super Mario Brothers, I've seen, like, at least a couple of people online. That counts as an essay still, yeah? It's on the internet, it's an essay, And this idea of instructional game design, of basically like, hey, here's what this This basically teaches you the basics of the game just by kind of being there. Like, oh, you walk into the brown mushroom, it hurts you, and you learn not to do that. Stuff like that. Especially because there's been a lot of talk about how much tutorializing there are in a lot of games. And, I mean, I kind of go back and forth on it because, on the one hand, yeah, there's a point where being told for the 8th game in a row, not counting where you've talked about... Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about how much tutorializing games have, and, like, I do sort of get it because after the 8th mainline Pokemon game in a row, not to mention you've played multiple versions at each generation, And they've had the third version, which they've expanded upon in recent years, and the remakes and all that. Sure, you don't need to be taught how to catch Pokemon again anymore, and you can just say, please don't tell me this. I will, air quotes, figure it out on my own. But on the other hand, a lot of games have gotten super complicated, so I do understand that, is what I'm trying to say. As we get to level 7 here, and now the end is near. That's a sentiment that I think a lot of us have had, or had thrust upon us in recent weeks. If it weren't for social distancing, you would definitely see a few more people on soapboxes, right? That's not a thing people do anymore. Who am I kidding? Yeah, I'm not really opposed to tutorials in video games, but I think there is sort of an upper limit on some things. One of the big reasons why Navi just kind of made you a little bit less grounded in, one of the, this level can be a little bit on the... Yeah, I know, right? Just punching through solid bricks? I mean, that's pretty impressive. Among other things, all kinds of weird rock chunks that we're just gonna plow through like we belong in a comic book. Unfortunately, I got a little distracted there. What I was gonna say is that one of the big things that made Navi really annoying, like, everybody goes on about the sound clips, and they're not necessarily the nicest on your ears, but being told to read the one color button multiple times is not really... Like, that doesn't even really teach you anything, almost. Level 8, keep on trucking. Ah, an R-Crumb. Let's see what we can do here. This is one of the relatively few levels where we're just going to imprison a bunch of lemmings in between a couple of blockers. And I'm going to sit here for a second trying to hash out how to best ration my digging skills here. I think I can afford to waste one builder, so I'm going to take the diagonal path and go over this little bit of shrubbery, which will just devour our lemmings very readily. In fact, I'll show it off. Why not? Just whoop, gone without a trace. Oh no, Lemster, hey Arthur, fall down. Robert the in Holy Grail, the guy was named Roger, right? Buy, arrange, and sell shrubberies. I haven't seen that movie in years. I've got it on DVD somewhere, but I do have a VHS of it sitting on my desk. I haven't bothered to test out that VCR I bought at a Goodwill a couple of... like 2 months ago. Okay, so little lesson here. Again, showing this off because I know I explained it in the Lemmings stream, but I guess not everybody was... Obviously, not everybody was there for that. And when I post this on YouTube, I don't think everybody's gonna watch that. But once a builder completes, we get a couple of frames where the builder walks forward, and we can use that to extend our bridge. We're doing that for the purposes of making sure we get over this pit in 2. Because we're gonna need the rest of what we have. And you will notice that our lemming is gonna fall through. There's a bit of a hairline crack there. Yeah, that's a quite unfortunate bit of unfortunateness. We're gonna build one tile. And we should have one frame here to... No? You gonna be like this? Ooh. Alright, let's rewind a little bit. Yes, indeed. Play NeoLemmix. It gives you a built-in cheat engine. Joking around a little bit. Yeah, I think... Well... Talking about intended solutions can be a little bit on the... funny side, because... Who knows, really? A lot of these are... Oh, that 1 pixel gap is never to be underestimated. I think a lemming can step up all of that, but it's not going to be that one. So... Ultimately, it may not have been in our best interest to do things that way if we wanted to save as many as possible. But we have a small amount of leeway, and from reasonably early in the series, this game does sort of train you to have some concept of acceptable loss. Yeah, I think that's probably actually, like, a simpler solution is to go under the crystal, down here, and sort of loop around. Oh, right, I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of the talismans except for the one that I showed off. Well, 2 that I showed off on stream last time, basically, because... I did one on the, in the main game of Lemmings. This is a simple solution, because it's a simple solution. Number 9, on the Antarctic coast. This one is kind of similar. And that is an incredibly gruesome icicle trap that I think we're going to have to get one quick look at it just to see how, like... What level of Mortal Kombat this is kind of on, actually. Like, some of the traps in this game, in these games, are pretty, a lot of them are left more to the imagination, but this one I remember being very, there's a lot of very red pixels, needless to say. So... Oh god, that's quite a noise, too. But yeah, that lemming just got split in half, which is actually kind of worse than I remember. Woo! This level, is mostly supposed to scare you with the timer, because you can see there's a lot of screen share. Well, it's also supposed to make you remember to go through the chunk of snow correctly. But there's a lot of screen share going on here, and you think, oh boy, those fellas are not going to make it from one end to the other that much of a time. It basically teaches you the thing that I said at the beginning of the last stream that I did Lemmings on. Yes, they do move that fast. Oh, I just realized something else here. I have to save everybody on this level. Whoops. I got, kind of baited there a little bit. We got climbers, though, so that's a reasonably effective solution to our major problem here. Alright, mine. I'm fairly certain that we don't need to use all 5 of those builders. It's certainly got a look to it, doesn't it? Actually, to go super nerd, the fact that you called it a finger is just making me think, wow, that's just a hand casting a cone of coldness, isn't it? You've got this ice blower over here. And I'm doing that kind of the dumb way, because I don't want to turn around. That's just more time wasted. Okay, so, yeah, minute 23 is more than enough time. Again, as I said, they do move that fast. Do not underestimate these guys. Well, okay, sometimes you should, but most of the time they will outperform what you would expect. And that can often cause you some problems. Level 10, Rocky 6. I actually just saw this one earlier today, so... No. We need the first lemming to fall through. This one has a very, very complicated solution that sort of sitting here like, how long do I have to wait for this part to get set up? About now? Because basically, yes, I don't think there's anything that is remade on the Genesis from this game in the Genesis port that is from another difficulty, so yeah. Alright. So, what I'm trying to say is that we need someone to block basically at the tip of this crystal in order to isolate this one lemming to do work to basically make this part of the path to the exit. Our main crew is going through here, through this chunk of rock with the arrows on it. I think this is our first arrow obstacle in this game, right? And it goes around and around and it comes out here, basically. And it comes out here. Oh, right, and we have to build here and make sure that we turn around and not jolt too far ahead here. There is a lot to account for in this level. And I probably would be like, wait, what am I doing if I had not seen somebody do this earlier today? One of the YouTubers that I watch, who I will no doubt drop a link to at the end on the off chance that, well, Mark is here, so I'm pretty sure that he doesn't subscribe to the guy. Round the Wheel from YouTube does a lot of Lemming stuff, and he just played this level today because of its inclusion in the Lemmings Redux custom pack. So I literally just saw this solution earlier this morning. So if there's anything that can be considered cheating in this type of stream, it'd be that. Now that I finally got all of my words out, let's finish this level. Also, check out that chameleon down there. Lizard Mackenzie, the blinking eyes. That is absolutely a trap that we will see in later levels, by the way. No probleming. Level 11, and this one is just to mess with you. This, completely irrelevant. These lemmings are all going to die. I don't think we can actually save any of them in any real way. Instead, we just go over here, and we occasionally hear some quite unfortunate sound effects. I'm going to be frame skipping through the vast majority of this level. Just that way you get as few of those as possible. Because who wants to hear hearing squish like that many times? I don't think that's good for most of us. Reminds me of in Lemmings Revolution. I did not play much of Lemmings Revolution. I need to get around to that at some point. Get my hair out of my eyes here. Level 12, Lemming Friendly. This one uses a kind of, basically kind of a default setup, if you will, that I don't 100% remember how this works. We're allowed a kill limit of 5. So I believe we're not going to seal this up with a builder, which was my immediate instinct. Put a blocker. Back up 1 frame just for the fact that it's a little harder. Probably a little faster, but not at all. You missed a couple of levels, I guess. One of them was kind of hard, but it's also one that I had seen somebody play earlier today, so I remembered the solution. So again, we kind of defanged it completely. This is quite unfortunate for people who are hoping for ludicrous amounts of failure on my end. It will happen soon enough, trust me. Again, we're going to do frame by frame to... Missed one of the Rocky movies. Let's go with that, yeah. Well, at the time that that level came out, Rocky 6 wasn't a thing, and then Rocky Balboa came out, like, some number of years ago. You shouldn't ask me about film things if I haven't made that abundantly clear. I don't watch a lot of movies. Okay, let's roll it back here. So, the simple part here is that we want to get this lemming up pretty high, because trying to build through here with 3 builders is kind of a disaster waiting to happen. And thank goodness we break through the entire top of that pillar. Otherwise, if there was just like 1 pixel hanging over here, I don't think we'd be able to build properly. And we demolished that one last blocker. So there you go. Alright. Yeah, that one... I didn't even remember that that existed. And mostly it was a bit of confusion. It's a trade-off, level 13. The main thing I remember about this one is that it's kind of not. And that I'm not sure why the kill limit is so high. Because we absolutely don't need to... It looks like a whale. A little bit, yeah. Reminds me of, like, one of the many math memes that existed on the internet where it was just a graph of, like, a sine wave or something, and somebody had drawn it, and then they completed it with a picture of a whale. And the teacher marked them down for it, which I guess, okay, the whale's not really part of the graph, but... I mean, are you really gonna... Everyone says the arts are great until they have to, you know, do anything involving them. Or something. Yeah. Until the artists need money. Then suddenly, oh, nope, well's dry. Arts education, the fuck's that? Trade-off is the choice of which alcove of the wall you try to aim for. Fair enough. That's actually a pretty good analysis there. It's certainly not much of a trade-off in terms of lives, I'll tell you that for now, cause... And we didn't even have to worry about, oh, 3 minors. We just ignored the holes entirely. We're taking about as much time on this level as you can, but we saved everybody, and we did it in a nice, simple way. Number 14, time waits for no lemming. This one is a test of order of operations, I believe, basically. So the first thing we need to do is that, of course. Send someone up the wall. I think we can just kind of do this just right away. Yeah, in fact, we do need a chunk of the wall removed because we're going to dig down through it. Just like that. So either this guy would have to bash at the very bottom of the wall, or we would have to just make sure that we cut it off early. And I just barely got away with that. I will accept just barely, though. That still remains a passing score in this game. Now, real quick, let's pull this thing out and see if we can determine where squishy blue and green death occurs. Basically, once we get to about the level with the top of this is when we would have to start assigning lemmings floaters, because what we're going to do is we're going to build to the exit, but we're doing it in a pretty dangerous manner. Not to be confused with a haunted house, which would be a pretty dangerous manner with an O and only one N. Not bad. And again, we definitely have the time for this. I've definitely This one is definitely pretty memorable. I feel like I remember seeing it with a shorter time limit by like a minute, though. So maybe I'm a little shaky on some stuff, that's for sure. Right. Crazy 15. Warlord of Old Blocks. And that's not how you do that kind of Scottish accent that they're going for. The developers of this game, incidentally, are all from Britain. One of them is very, very Scottish with a very strong accent. So, yeah, they were definitely kind of making fun of themselves a little bit here. We have to build up here. Again, this is one that I remember pretty well because there's these little death trap things over here that just kind of impact your lemmings into the floor. Far enough over to... That will be far enough over to start cutting through here. Okay. So, of course, this is a very, very lethal drop. But we can mitigate that pretty simply. Doing stuff like this. Let's turn this fella around there. Otherwise, we actually might not have enough time because, admittedly, climbers do go kind of slow. Do that, max out our release rates. Let this lemming get all the way through there. There's a couple more ways you can do that. I just did it that way because, for some reason, that sticks in my brain as the main way that it's accomplished. Let's see where this game throws me something that I also do not remember very well. Across the Gap. Oh, this one is a trial of timing. Huh. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's just a psychological effect or something. Oh well. This level is all about timing. We have to save everybody. So we can't have a blocker over here, and we especially can't have anybody turn around. And you see, we get a very wonky set of tools to work with here. And also, we only have 3 builders. So I think that's going to... Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that's not what we want to have happen. We need that guy to dig even more. Will that do it? Yeah, there we go. That's good. I think there's a way to do this without digging, but it's not necessarily the simplest thing the world has ever seen. We're going to have one more lemming climb here, and we're going to have this guy mine just a little bit off of there. Again, there's a couple of ways to get them out of that tiny little hole, but I usually like to just cut off that tiny little chip using a miner. It just seems like the right solution aesthetically in my brain, I guess. We kind of lucked out with that one, and again, we're sort of really using the tools that we had at our disposal here with NeoLemmix. That one can take a very long time to actually solve, despite being such a short level. Let's move on to number 17. Digging for victory. But we don't get a whole lot of digging to do here, so we're going to be doing mostly something else. Okay, I actually don't remember how this one works. What's our limit? We get to kill one. Okay, so I think the way we want to do this is going to be dig twice, bash through. Is that safe? Oh, that's safe. Okay, that's safe. Dig twice, bash through, build here, build into this chunk, bash through, dig. And this part is going to be a little bit on the hairy side because that's not really the simplest thing in the world. At least we get a relatively relaxed musical track here. One of the ones that's less hammering your ears with super fast arrangements and everything. Alright, so we gotta clear this in... I don't think we can do this in one, but we're gonna find out. Yeah, because it... Oh! Yeah, you can see that one little pixel-ish of barrel there. I thought that that ridge was going to prevent anybody from getting through. We're not exactly talking about Ridge Racer here, you know. Ah, Ridge Racer. A game that was memed about very heavily around the announcement of the PS3 and then never mentioned ever again. Okay, so we're in place to dig. Now we go ahead and remove that blocker. And I think this all worked out in one go. But we did have to do our puzzle solving ahead of time. The main thing here is going to be the time, which I think we have enough of. Yeah, we're good. Okay. That was a nice one and done there. I just didn't remember how to do it, so I had to hash it out ahead of time. Not too tough at the moment, but they do get a little more obscure later on. No problem. We had a no prob lemming earlier. Now we just have no problem. And this is another one I don't remember, so this is fun. Alright, so... Yeah, this is really weird looking. Okay. So... how lethal is this drop? Ooh. That's not good for nobody. Here? That's safe. Okay. So I think what I can do here is mine, build, we have a blocker over here, and then we send one lemming ahead and... chaotic dumbass. Good enough, good enough. I mean, I appreciate that kind of energy too, so... it helps me feel normal. So we've got to... we're gonna have to just let a couple of lemmings die here. As I say, this is not really a great game to play if you must save every single one of them, because the game will just absolutely not allow you to do that. Ramp our release rate all the way. Later we will have another lemming bash through here. We can mine down through this chunk. And mostly it's just a super long walk. But we've also got this little death trap, which I'm going to show off real quick. That'll also give me a handle on where we build from, without just using this, because this will just show you, oh yeah, hey, there's where all the traps are. I don't necessarily feel like doing that until I have to. But we see our lemming get vaporized and turn into a puff of blue smoke. I got a feeling that I may have made a bit of a mistake somewhere because of that. Yeah. Alright, let's hit the restart button. Do people speedrun these games? I believe so, but not very much. It's actually something that I've given some consideration to doing at some point, but I haven't gotten around to trying it. I've seen that categories exist on speedrun.com for the original game, at least in the... It is broken up by difficulty, but also... what am I trying to say here? But basically, I don't think there are submitted runs for a lot of the difficulties in the... at least in the original game. In this game, there's probably even less. So, I'm gonna try something a little chunky here. Alright, don't get death raid. Yep, the hitbox is low and medium height, but just low enough and just medium height enough to spare our lemming. Seeing speedruns of this game would be pretty interesting because, of course, a lot of those would be on, like, the Amiga or DOS or something, or not using an engine clone like this. So a lot of the frame-by-frame stuff and the ability to choose which direction you can assign a task in would not be available. So as Sentinel Proxima mentioned yesterday, there's a couple of levels that you can ease things very, you can ease things a lot by getting just the right release rate. So on top of all of that, the amount of strategizing and theory crafting and everything for this kind of thing would be really intense. And I think that, like, going through the entire game as fast as possible would be pretty cool. I don't know that it would be the kind of thing that would have a huge audience at, like, GDQ or something, so that would kind of mean it wouldn't end up there, because GDQ definitely deals more in the more popular stuff. But it still would be... it would be quite a run, and also you can see here that I did not send these lemmings out fast enough at all. And the game's going to mock me for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this replay go for a bit. We're gonna enter salty runback mode in a way and get an idea as to where we started to send lemmings out and try to hash out how far back we have to back up here. Alright, so the third builder has gone off. Miner has started, so we don't... yeah, we send, like, this deep into the mine. That is not going to do it at all. I'm going to say, let's do it after we finish building. That should still give us enough time, I think. And get as close to the the funky construction here with these... Like, it kind of looks like they're supposed to be Tesla coils or big Van de Graaff generators, but also the pattern on this just kind of makes it look like a basketball drawn by somebody who's never seen a basketball before. That's still not soon enough. Ooh. Yeah, so this is absolutely going to be the level where I really... They're hauling some amount of ass, but it's not enough ass. You require more ass! Alright, so if it's at the end of the build, then that's not soon enough. Alright. This is gonna start feeling a little tight. There's still a reasonable chunk of space between the two. So that tells me that that's probably still not enough. We may have to go as far back as the end of the second bridge. Now just imagine you gotta redo this every time you screw it up. And you can tell a big reason why I'm doing this using this, because, yeah. Alright, can you guys sort this out, please? There we go. If I could sort that... Oh, jeez. That's a doubleheader of failure there. I just hit the nuke button, too. I'm kind of fumbled with the keyboard a little bit. That's what I get for moving my hand. I think I play enough of some games I know don't move the left hand. You'll just screw yourself up really badly. They are a lot more separated out that time. Oh, we just barely got that. In fact, I think that at least one of those lemmings didn't actually get into the exit, but just barely counts, so good enough. This level is a lot easier. Don't panic. Yeah. After that level, I definitely feel like any level that tells me not to panic will be welcomed, hopefully, but also I'm not sure how far I trust that. So this gap should be able to be cleared in one bridge. In fact, we can just do that to separate some folks out immediately. Yeah, as close as possible. Yeah, one bridge. And if somebody wants to... Oh, somebody died. And somebody turned around. I'll throw down a blocker there for safety. I think we're just barely gonna pull this off. I turned that release rate up too early, which is one of the very rare times you will likely see that. But I do occasionally... I suppose I do occasionally enjoy playing with fire, don't I? Judging by this. Wow, we actually still had one over the limit. I'm surprised. Yeah, I remember that one pretty well. That one was in Lemmings Redux, so I remember that pretty nicely. And now for the last of this rating, Ice Ice Lemming. Ah, the 90s. They existed, didn't they? And this... I do remember that hairline crack there, but past that... is the main thing that I remember. Oh yeah, this is like the worst part about seeing a level design like this is that part of your brain that's like, this is just a bunch of random chunks. And then you know, deep down, no, this was designed this way on purpose, and you can't tell which is worse. That someone would intentionally design something like this, or that it wasn't just or that it was just random chunks and they decided to call it a day. This is gonna be a bit tough, to say the least, but it might end up being kind of straightforward. It's gonna be a lot of juggling with these guys, and then hoping we have the building tasks to get out of here. Which is gonna be kind of a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the most confidence in this. There's 2? No. Take your step. Shit, I just noticed that wasn't good. I mean, there's a bit of charm to it, but also it is just kind of like, oh, this is cruel and unusual. I mean, it's certainly unusual. Okay, so I think we're good over here. Emphasis on I think. Yeah, it seems to be going okay. Alright. Actually, I want to do that from the left. Yeah, I mean, I could just leave those guys behind, but I'm trying to get everybody in here. If only to say that I can do it, I guess. You know, they're there to... I didn't even notice that until, like, very abruptly there, that I don't actually have to save everybody. And yet I'm doing it anyway. But, you know, why not? They give you the tools. That surprisingly was not that bad, it just was very scary. The Lemmings appreciate it. Yeah, fair enough. I bet they appreciate any time they don't have to walk into a trap or anything. Alright. Now we get into the wild difficulty here. This first level, Pop Your Top. I hated this type of level. on the DOS because it's basically all about bombers. And that's not really the sort of thing that lends itself to a nice solution. However, we get a lot more builders here than I remember. We can rescue a bunch of extra lemmings by basically pooling everybody into a relative few sections early on. Yeah, they give you way too many extra bombers here, don't they? Lethality of the drop there. Oof. Big oof. That kind of bash ain't it, Chief. And unfortunately, I don't see a great, Oh, no, it's actually safe, wow. I'm kind of surprised. So, we managed to avoid doing any sort of bombing whatsoever. We're kind of like Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2. We managed to avoid bombing! We saved everybody. That... I just played that by ear, and it went over like that. Okay. I'll take it. Wild 2, Lemming Hotel. I remember this name, but I don't remember the level. But we get a very generous limit there, so I'm expecting this to be a little bit on the not nice side of architecture here. It can't be that simple, right? Apparently it can. Why'd I do that? Actually, wait a second. Is that... Oh, no, that's safe. So this one is looking pretty simple. Like, I'm surprised by this. Well, by a lot, really, because, like, wow. Are they actually just gonna let us do this? Alright, turn around. Bash into here. No, back up. There we go. Again, the kind of thing that you wouldn't really be able to do so easily in DOS, but we'll take it while we have it. Although, again, seriously, the fact that this ended up being as simple as it looked. All the traps animate in NeoLemmix, so that wouldn't be, there wouldn't be a hidden trap there. Despite appearances. I mean, our timer is not particularly nice looking, but we're fine, I think. Dig down. That should be fine. There we go. And now we just rescue these guys, and there we go. Yeah, especially because I'm thinking of the first level of Havoc where there's just a chunk of steel and there's a hidden icicle, and it would probably scare the bejesus out of you if you ran into that as a kid. But amazingly, we managed to finish, so far, the first 2 levels of Wild with 100% without them even asking us to. Let's see what this next level affords us. Lemming Rhythms. This looks, again, reasonably simple to figure out, of the sort that is very severely eased by me playing it in this version. Although I do see that what the big issue is here, that we don't have a bomber, so... Wow, that's... I'm kind of not surprised to hear that, but that's not something I'm going to be doing today, sorry. So this one, the big gimmick here is the lack of a bomber to save our lemmings, but that means we can just do a nice deep dig here, like we're trying to find the mantle, like we're trying to go get some serious oil. Like we need that dinosaur blood to you know, do whatever it is you do with that, right? We should probably max out our release rate entirely. And that first build is strangely... It's okay, I was saying something kind of silly, as usual. Just really... I don't remember these being so far offset from each other. It's a very strange architectural thing, and I'm gonna think about that later, and I'm gonna get upset, I'm sure. We can start digging now. In fact, oh, we should probably dig a little further back, shouldn't we? Let's find somewhere a little safer. Pause. How far are we from a safe drop? Oh boy. I definitely wanted to set up the release a lot sooner then. I'm pretty sure. I'm quite certain that that's what I'm going to discover, is that I will have wanted to do this earlier. Actually, I think we're fine. So that's definitely a bit of a weird level. I was getting pretty close to chastising the wild rating pretty early there, because those first 2 levels, wow. Especially that Lemming Hotel level, that's just kind of like dishonor on you and dishonor on your cow. Level 4, meeting adjourned. This one... is a little strange, I believe. In fact, I'm going to make very minimal judgment until I really get started here. Do we have a good way to seal this up? Maybe not, but I'd like to do that a little faster than that allows for, if possible. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Alright, so we want the one in front, if we're doing it this way, to do that. One, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's this guy. That's pretty much how a lot of this is gonna end up going. What's that Lemmings dying sound? Skills are free blockers if I have to. I believe you're correct, so I'm pretty sure that this is not the way that we adjourn this meeting properly. Actually, I've got a climber. I realized I'm overcomplicating this, and I want to back that up a little bit. Not to there, apparently. But like that? It does create a lethal drop, but we can fix that by getting everybody out as soon as possible. Unfortunately, as soon as possible, it's not soon enough. When will that be now? Soon enough. That's not soon enough. Build into the tree. I just want to make sure that he doesn't, like, start going over this way. And the tour is over. When's that? Soon enough. That's not soon enough! Yeah, there you go. Someone's onto me in my long-standing love of old Futurama. I can't say that I know about that, Bronco. And that is not how I want to proceed with life, with that, bash. As long as we have one builder left at the end of this, this little trail here, which may be asking a surprising amount. I think we're gonna be a little short on that, but you assign a blocker to a walker near a digger, the digger will change direction. Oh, that's pretty interesting, though. That's a fairly, potentially useful thing. And you can see that this didn't go the way I wanted it to. So, reset. I've got it now, just a minor change here. To a point where basically we're taking the task burden from over here off of a builder and putting it onto a basher, because we are absolutely going to have enough of those. Like, they give you a little extra by a wide margin. They give you way more than they need to, is what I meant to say there. Sometimes I'm pretty bad at words in the moment, in case nobody has noticed at this point. That's why if somebody's like, speech, speech, the correct answer is always, God, you don't want that! The fuck is wrong with you? You probably shouldn't say the fuck is wrong with you to those people, but you definitely should inform them that they definitely don't want your speech. In fact, even if you're like a good public speaker, they don't want your speech. That's just something I can notify you of immediately. Lemming head, the candy that nobody wants. Let's... Actually, saying that, I'm sure there's a couple of people here who are like really into lemon heads. Maybe I shouldn't be out here... Maybe I shouldn't be out here dissing people's lemon heads. Wow, listen to this guy. Well, it's because this came out in 1992 and the ESRB didn't exist then. There'd be a couple of years, but... Well, I guess saying that, a lot of stuff afterwards got rated eventually. Although saying that, it is kind of like... This level is fine. This level suck, wow. My chat, everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Amazing, I forgot what I was gonna say. A lot of games from the pre-ESRB era did get re-rated later on, so I guess I can't really be like, hey, how did this, how did it get past the ESRB? It didn't exist yet. Well, there's ratings on a lot of that eShop stuff, so, Yeah, that bridge was way too far back. The thing you could ask yourself, really, is, like, there had to have been in-house standards boards for a lot of publishers. So you gotta ask yourself how stuff got past that. And I think the answer is quite simple. A lot of these games never got played by the people who were doing that stuff. Because as we've noticed, there's a lot of extremely bloody traps in these games. Let's try building from here. Oh yeah, and then there's that. When did Secret of Mana come out? Like, that is one that is just like, wow, somebody at the ESRB was asleep behind the wheel. I'm not even gonna do replays on this, I'm just gonna do the old, right-click thing here. Infamous for that was Bionic Commando. I think that was even on the NES as well. Although, they apparently knew enough to change him from being Hitler because, you know, at that point in time, and this is still a thing, that the don't offend anybody thing often is pushed to a level of don't offend anybody sort of thing, which, you know, I very blatantly will make an exception to that for Nazis or neo-Nazis or folks of that persuasion. I've had some incredibly unfortunate people follow me before, and yeah. As it turns out, the internet is full of schmucks. I think I missed a step here. Yeah, okay, I sort of autopiloted this a little bit, but what we want to do is we're going to reseal... Once we bash through this chunk of pipe here, we're going to reseal that area. And then we're going to go through here. And then just build to the end. This is a shorty, but a lot of it does come down to, hey, what's the... look at that time limit you have, and there's not much of it. And to be fair, yeah, there isn't a whole lot of it, but it basically just means that once you puzzle out the solution, you just have to use your pause button a lot more. Oh, right. I forgot this is a 1 minuter in Redux. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, that's super easy to do in 1 minute. They gave you 2, I guess, because the devs weren't very fast at getting that all together, but that's definitely a 1 minute level type of setup. Level 7, you take the high road. And the other half of the lemmings will have to take the low road. This one is looking pretty simple, quite frankly. Build, bash, build on the top, and on the bottom it's bash, 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 build. Yeah, this shouldn't be too hard. I do like levels that are set up as a basically solve 2 mini levels at once type of thing. Or even more than 2. There is one in Redux, again, that Round the Wheel played recently, and of course one that I remember quite well, that is 4 levels at once, and we may see that later today. I think that's pretty deep into the game, though, so I may be wrong about that, but again, depends how long I go. This game can get a little long, so I might only do like half of it today, or a little more than that, really, because, yeah. We're rolling up to just over an hour and a half, or like an hour 45 uptime. So there's a lot of leeway for me to. Did I not build from far enough back there? I did. Okay. I'm going to rewind there in order to make sure that I have a nice clear area to see this bridge. Make sure that I can just plant it on the ground. Yeah. See, this one's nice and simple, but it's a cool idea of here's 2 levels, and especially the aesthetic setup of like one's going one way, one's going the other. It's very nice. Level 8, it's a tight fit, and we have 1 minute, and the timing on this is indeed just as tight as you would expect from the title. So, the trick here, let's set this release rate to 90, I think, is going to be good. Is that we're going to learn something about floaters here that is not really taught anywhere else. And that is that it doesn't matter where you make them float in the drop, they will survive no matter what. And lemmings that don't float fall noticeably faster. So we will widen the gap between number 1 and number 2 like that. I believe you can get away with not doing that and still solve this level, but I'm just doing it because it's the... Maybe it's not. Maybe you do have to really widen that a little bit, judging by those, so never mind what I was going to say. But that's a nice shorty. Again, another one that I remember extremely well. Level 9, Ice Station Lemming. Let's see. These folks are just... This is a completely free one over here. One basher, 1 digger, and 20 builders. This one is pretty simple to figure out. But I guess that this is just kind of there to throw you off a little bit. Because it certainly doesn't really slow down the release rate any with the amount of the, how high the release rate is between 2 entrances. Oh, that sounds pretty great. I feel like nuke glitches are going to end up being a thing we explore at some point just for the sake of entertainment. Alright, we're secure so we can get all of our lemmings out. And then we just do this really simple part of this level here. And We're, like, almost done already. This isn't even a time crunch or anything. It's just a very simple level that I guess is, like, a psychological effect kind of thing. Amazing. That's pretty good. Wild number 10, Higgledy Piggledy. That's a reference for sure. I cannot remember to what, but I know it is one. We get to kill 20 on this level, and we, I think, get a lot less die usually, but this is another fairly simple one. Aside from the part, it's a reference to a book. I just cannot place what it is offhand, because it's one that I read when I was a child, though. I know that. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that, just sort of eep, eep. There is only so much I can do here. I mean, it could be that could be the case. But it is something I'm only familiar with from having seen it in a book as a child, and then it just vanished from my life immediately afterwards, so I'm going to consider that a natural assumption. Actually, we can rescue these guys like this. Yeah. Now everybody is safe. And I'm going to set that up, maximize our release rate. It's possible. I'm going to just basically do walk away strats here. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm pretty sure this will work. Barely. Oh wow, we didn't time out. Alright, I'm back. Let's take a look at level 11, Mutiny on the Bounty. Yeah, this one is kind of familiar, but I don't 100% know if I'm going to have the solution immediately come out of my brain. We'll see what happens here. If I remember how this works, and wow, 3-minute time limit. We just send a climber, and no. I think that used to actually work in the DOS version of this, that you can just send a climber that way. But as it stands, we're gonna fill in the security exit there. Fill Fill that up and get our first lemming going. Now, this little piece of chain here, I know that there's a gap in it, and I'm just going to give that a quick demo because I don't remember where. Yeah, see, sometimes like singular diagonal pixels are just lethal to lemmings. So that's like a huge throw off, and here's a free reset of the level when you first see that. So, oh boy. That's what I get for trying to be like, oh yeah, I know about all this. I didn't know about that. And I paid for it. And I mashed a couple extra buttons there, so get ourselves on the ground. So from here, we have to mitigate a massive, massive drop here. We got to mitigate the old Six Flags giant drop. And we get to have one additional builder at the end of this in order to rescue everybody. I think we can do this in one. It would help if I had the right tool out, and actually, I'm going to reset this a little too far, but I'm going to try doing this in 2 and 2. Right under here, maybe? Oh wow, I actually have enough space to do that in a single builder. Impressive. And I don't really need this goofus turning around, but I guess we're just doing things the weird way all over the place today. That should be safe, right? Yes. Perfect. So this one, yeah, this took a couple of shots here, but we got there. And we even saved everybody. I think somebody is actually supposed to die in that, but I don't know who it is. Level 12, Snow Joke. Bit of an easy level title there. So much so, it landed in a couple of other games. Space Station Silicon Valley is one of them. Readjust all my windows here real quick, because, yeah, things were a bit of a mess there for a second. Space Station Silicon Valley is like the first place where I think of hearing that line in, because that's one of those games that I always thought was like really cool, and then I never finished it because there were some parts that were ludicrously hard. Hey there, Retro Fanatic. How is it going? We're doing a little more Lemmings today. This time we're dealing with the expansion, as you can see. Oh no, more Lemmings. Oh yeah, the Swamp of Eternal Stench, right? That level. Oh boy, that's not nice. Slept most of the day. Yeah, that sounds like... God, I don't even remember that. The main thing that I can immediately think of in terms of... And also, we're going to reset this because I did it wrong. We did that right, but the rest, The main thing that I can think of in terms of that game, in terms of just rank bullshit, is the level Rat-O-Matic, where they have you use the fox with the wheels, and you have to do the teleport move in mid-air, and yeah, we didn't need this guy either, you're right. And, like, that's how you're supposed to, air quotes, jump in that level in order to get through certain parts. And just, like, how? I mean, I understand the principle, yeah, but it's just kind of, like, the worst form of jumping ever. It absolutely was. It's just that some of the level design was, a little bit on the asshole type of side of things. Like, there was somebody at DMA Design. I think it was DMA. I think it was a Take-Two DMA thing. Published by Take-Two, built by DMA Design, which, incidentally, DMA Design is the company that made Lemmings, so I guess it doesn't entirely surprise me that some of the design is a little bit on the nasty side, but there was absolutely someone at the offices of whatever that company was who apparently just really hated children because, like, wow, some of that, just why? And I don't want to build from there because I don't want this lemming to turn around. Well, I might be able to get away with that. Yeah, there's that too. The amount of fake swearing involved. Well, the almost swearing, rather. Fake swearing, almost swearing. I think my basic idea comes through, but I don't know if I'm necessarily using words correctly today, apparently. Alright, so there's a lot that goes into this level. You're absolutely correct there, Retro Fanatic, but while we're just sort of butting up against the time limit, we're gonna get away with this. We took a kind of wasteful solution, but it will do the job. Yep, more than enough, it says. It's true. Onward and upward. This is another one that I recognize right off the bat here because I saw it in Lemmings Redux. So, to do this, to get these lemmings up here, we need to use a miner, because you can see we only have the 2 builders, and building up to this chunk would be a huge pain in the butt. To get through here, we have 2 bashers, and we have 4 bombers. We need to use 2 bombers in this area to get through here, and we're going to end up using a bomber and a blocker to get through here, and we're going to use a basher to get through there. It's gonna be it's a bit weird. This is one that, again, is noticeably harder on the original version of this, just for reasons of, oh, you gotta actually time these bombers. You gotta time a lot of stuff. We may still have some difficulty here and there. In fact, we're gonna do this, so that way our miner turns around. Actually, we don't want to do that. I just remember... Oh, Jesus, yeah, that goes pretty deep. That's not what we want out of this. And if you're wondering why I gotta send 2 blockers over, that fall is lethal. So we have to make this fella turn around. And we just don't have enough time to do things the other way here. Do we? Block and... yeah, this is not exactly going to be the world's friendliest thing in terms of amount of time, no matter what. But we should be able to make this work, and now I'm worried if that fella is too far down. I think we've got this. I think we have this in one. So most of the levels in Lemmings Redux don't have time limits. So even playing them in this game as opposed to playing them in that particular pack is a bit of a different experience because of the matter of juggling. You kind of have to juggle more things in this version most of the time. For example, I need to juggle remembering to hit the release rate button because I don't think those lemmings are going to make this walk. Absolutely not. And yeah, we got the path right and everything, but that by itself is not going to be good enough. So we give this another fast forward. That one die like immediately, right? Yeah. That should be good. There should just be enough time because, at the very least, bombers accomplish what they do very fast, timer or no. So these guys can get pretty close to the one at the front, and it won't be too much of an issue. But I think this is gonna hopefully be the winning run. It is seeming a little tight there. Yeah, that's still not tight enough of a timer, of a timing. So we pop that blocker like right after set to teach a friend Dead by Daylight. Well, have fun! And thank you for watching once again. Alright, so that turns around. I seriously don't feel like I'm doing this soon enough. I hope I didn't just repeat the last run. That's always a concern, is that like, oh, I think I just forgot what I did. And so I just repeated the last run, didn't I? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Hey, yep, that's pretty much what I did. Alright, so let's just do things this way. Unpause. And let's get a bit of a space out like that. Block. Mine. Bomb. One, two, three. Yeah, so we've got to not screw this up. There we go. Alright, there's only the one there. This is a much tighter setup, so I feel a lot more confident in this. So again, that's a pretty wide train because they were trapped in a pretty large area. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem, but let's see if the timing is basically right here. Basically, but we just sort of screwed that bit up. But otherwise, the basics are in place, I guess. Let's do the... I've got a slightly different idea for this. This... Hey, Lethal Feline, how is it going? And to anyone else who may have come in with Lethal Feline, I have no idea if Alan or any of the rest of the Alan crew are there. Well, I know Lear's made an appearance to give me some brief mockery. And I would expect no less of him. One shot and leave, yep. Well, it's not Colin mockery, right? It's okay, I'm pretty sure you've got hair, so... I'm doing this very wrong. I just had this moment of realization of like, wow, this is almost the smartest thing. Colon mockery. I just noticed that that's what you actually said. Colon mockery. Nice. Well, you see, first we're making a bad joke, and then we're making it even worse. Wait. Actually, that's about right. Space there. Oh, that's too close. Okay. That'll be good. This... Well, this level certainly is a good argument for me doing only a few, for me splitting this up into several streams, just because, well... Length of that train doesn't fill me with a ton of confidence. Well, the other big part is really that, like, this... It's not so much that, just as... I mean, that definitely is an issue depending on who the viewer is, but also... several hours of the same level. Like, just because the timing on this is so tight. To a point where I'm not always getting it, although I'm getting a little closer here. Alright. Reroll. We're almost there. I just have to push that forward a little bit more. And it should be fine. What's my time? It's like 2 hours? I did say I like to do 3-hour streams. Like right before I did a 5-hour stream yesterday, but I will see if I can't wrap up. I'll definitely be able to wrap this difficulty, but past that, I'm not 100% sure how much more I will put into this stream. We'll see when we get there, I guess. And that should be it. Don't screw me, one guy. Yeah. Ooh, that was close, and we actually saved one extra. Nice. Level 14, Ice Spy. I do not remember this at all, but I don't need to do that. Oh, Jesus. That scared me. Actually, wait a second. I think I just saw the top of that icicle not be attached. Let's see that again in frame-by-frame mode. Yeah, look, it's not even attached. What a load of bullshit. Yeah, a lot of Lemmings levels will definitely start looking a lot like each other after not too much time. That's for sure. To compact our Lemmings, we will do that. Is there even another trap? Yeah, I see another trap icicle over there. That is cruelly disguised. See, look at it just wiggling there a little bit. Wiggling like a wiggly worm, because we deserve to wiggle and squirm, I guess. Ah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were certainly a group before they became popular. Bunch of goddamn weirdos that they were at that point. I'm not trying to say they were bad, by the way, if there's, like, anybody in here who's a serious Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. Like, I'm not trying to say they were bad after they became popular. They certainly were still quite listenable. They just weren't as weird. I had this brief moment of like, oh god, that hitbox is gonna jump several feet over there and get that guy. No, who am I kidding? This isn't Kaizo Lemmings, which I'm sure that exists. Well, actually saying that, I've seen some of the level packs out there. Some of those can occasionally almost feel like Kaizo Lemmings. Some of the super hard ones, especially if you're not like super good at the game, which I'm only mediocre, really. Wild 15, The Silence of the Lemmings. We're gonna... I guess these guys are gonna get eaten or something. I don't have a good joke for this. I've seen this recently because it was in Lemmings Redux. And I remember it kicking my ass in that, so... we'll see how this all goes down. This... yeah, there's the three 3 little, squishy traps there. You certainly are asking the wrong person to spell something like that, my friend. It's the most useful thing I will say there. The generosity of that kill limit is a lot less than it looks, because we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to get out of here. So we are allowed to let 5 lemmings die in traps. I think we'll be okay doing that. Shit! I can't get over the chain. Ugh. This one's weird. So, I guess what needs to happen here is like this. What I think needs to happen is we need to bash under the blocker here, and basically one bridge there, one bridge to get over the chain. One lemming falls through there to be able to get ahead. Well, that's a kind of timing that's kind of mean, that's for sure. So that's a fairly precise thing, to say the least, here. You have... One more pixel up, and I think we're in business. Again, super glad for that frame-by-frame mode. That is... Oh, it's definitely a thing, and it gets even worse when you are doing this on the DOS and you have to actually, like, time bombers and everything. Shit, I gotta go even higher than that, because... Oh, maybe I should remember that step is not done yet. The thing is, I only remember how to do this one. This is how I accomplished it in Redux. So this is how I'm gonna do it here. Ooh, that's not the most amazing thing in the world, and neither is this guy screwing up the bash. I'm blaming that lemming instead of myself for the terrible, terrible timing, but let's be real, that is 100% my fault. Okay, so A total of 6 lemmings are allowed to go through the horrible death machine there. And I'm going to actually try and reduce that early by doing that. I fully admit, by the way, speaking of the matter of, is this or is this not pixel precise, and all of that, I absolutely have a strong tendency to make things harder for myself. However, I did eventually get this solution just right, provided everybody gets over here in time. And we managed to pull it off. Took a little bit of sorting stuff out, but we got there in the end. Wild number 16. Take care, sweetie. This one... Now, this one is pretty interesting because, you see, we only have one lemming, and we don't have the most amount of... Wait a second. 1, 2... 3, 4. Yeah, no, we can't do that. So we get very few tasks, and we have to guide this one lemming through these puzzles. These drops are not lethal. The big trick here is actually waiting to make your lemming a climber for a little while. I don't think there's a solution through this path, which is the immediate instinct, because what happens is, in fact... You know something? I'll just show it. I'll take a crack at doing this through the middle path, and you can see why it doesn't work. And in fact, I'm going to push this to the limit. Just like that song from the Scarface soundtrack, I think. I don't know who did that song, but you know the one I'm thinking of. It was also used in an episode of South Park. So... that build ends right over the hitbox of that death trap. So you'd have to build over it a second time. At which point you climb, and we'll back up. We'll back up to demonstrate this. I'm almost starting to feel a bit like a sportscaster in a way, for reasons I can't quite explain. We go over, and now we have no way to turn this lemming around, but the lemming just climbs up the wall and dies. So we can't go that way. We can, however, turn around by whacking our head on the ceiling here. Don't do that in real life. Build over this gap. Drop down. Make sure this lemming is not a climber yet. And then we go this way. And there are a few different... Well, not really. Never mind. Again, don't make your lemming a climber yet, but build this bridge. Again, if you make the lemming a climber, you would need one more bridge to get the entirety of this little bit of spiral staircase work going. Hit the wall, turn around, and climb. And there we go. Pretty simple. A very interesting level, in my opinion, though. This is probably my favorite one lemming level, but I could be wrong about that. Number 17, The Chain with No Name. Don't remember this one, but I do remember the title, because it's a pretty good title. I've been through the desert on a chain with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, because unfortunately, you're a lemming and they don't give you one of those. so this part gets a little bit funky. We're going to have a... Well, Gregory's just a bit on the odd side. Mine through this platform as far over as possible in order to mitigate this rather just barely... Actually, that might be safe. I'm not going to chance it, though. We have 3 miners. We got a nice little toolbox to our name here. Build up to the exit. But of course, the main thing here is that we cannot bomb, so we need to have this blocker in a position where we can free this sucker real easily. Free this sucker to death. Come on now, free this sucker to death. There you go. That was, again, a level I didn't remember, but pretty easy to hash out. Once you know what's going on. I like that one. Fire Drake, how is it going? Old buddy. Every time I hear the name Fire Drake, I think of Shadowgate. Wild 18, Dr. Lemminggood. This one is Builders and Bombers. Nah, I don't like that. That's got this level on my shit list already. I mean, I don't see why I can't do it at some point. It's an adventure game for, well, originally for the Mac back in the 80s, so like during a time when the Mac actually had games, believe it or not. Very, very weird era. Yeah, Shadowgate is definitely one of those adventure games that kind of does not take prisoners. It's not Sierra game levels of lethal, but you definitely are going to end up getting killed quite a bit. But it also was a very good adventure game on the NES. It was one of the relatively few console adventure games, and it was it really did kind of, it put the idea on the map, I would say. Although granted, it didn't stay on the map for very long. I have a copy for NES as well. The label is just absolutely demolished. I didn't know that it had a release specifically in Swedish. That's pretty interesting. Wild level 19, Lemmingdelica. I believe Legend of Kyrandia was mentioned probably by you. Oh, no. My bad. I'm thinking of somebody mentioned it during a session of Risk of Rain, but I've heard of it. I've never played it. I'll have to check out the Legend of Kyrandia games at some point. LP stream, same basic idea. I'm pretty sure that at this point, streams are basically live LPs for a lot of people. Yeah, this level architecture is a little bit on the goofy side. Like, they're not even using rocks, they're covered in some kind of funny grass here. They do sort of look like planters. Not the peanut manufacturer. Goodness no. Yeah, this is not much of a level. This is one of the relatively few, however, of the, like, hardcore build-a-thon type of levels in this game that were very, very popular in the old Lemmings, as you no doubt saw on, I'm pretty sure it was Thursday. It was recently. As you guys no doubt saw, that was a very popular thing in the original Lemmings, but they've cut those down in number quite significantly in this game, and we're all glad for it. And then you get one of these, and you're like, wow, you have this weird moment where it's like, you feel really weird not seeing one, and then this comes up, and you're like, oh, thank God they actually got rid of so many of these. It's definitely one of the less notable levels in the game, and yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt to have some, but mostly they just take way too long. And speaking of taking way too long, I'm surprised that I had enough time to rescue all those dudes. And I'm surprised that they give you such a hearty kill limit there. And now for the last level of Wild, got anything Lemming? Again, I've seen this one very recently because it was in Lemmings Redux. And I remember saving every Lemming in this level. I don't know if I'll be repeating that feat, but I will be giving it a shot. So this one, again, is fairly simple, especially now that we well know at this point that you can use builders to slow Lemmings down by a nice chunk. And if I position my digging fella properly, that will make this a lot easier on everybody involved. We should be able to get up there in one bridge. And see, that's our one Lemming dead. I probably could have, with a little bit more care, saved everybody. But, you know, I'll take the money and run at this point. This is definitely the kind of game that there's a lot of room for stuff like that, because, yeah, there's a lot of levels in this game, as you guys have no doubt noticed. It just happens that I know a lot of this still. Again, I've seen this one pretty recently too. Wicked Level 1, Lemming Tomato Ketchup Facility. And dealing with this, well, we get a nice slow release rate here. So we can do this part nice and easily. The kill limit on this is super generous, so I'm going to use and abuse that to just clear this chunk with bombers. And in order to do that, we want to bomb from further back. Even like a 1 pixel back from that. Which I know Alan would be giving me no end of shit if I was over here just like, I'm just gonna use the deaths of these little guys to... Wait a second, I'm having a moment of consternation here where I don't know that I can actually do that as well as I want to. Reset. Okay, so... Alan is Plastic Alan, who is a streamer who was in here yesterday, and he's a guy that I've known for, like, wow, a couple of years now. I think I started watching him back in 2013 when he was just a YouTube LPer. Alright, so this one was a little different from what I... Might help if I finalize things, huh? And that requires me to dig in the correct place. Yeah, it took a couple of, it took me screwing up the ending there. It's fine. Like I said, they give you a surprisingly generous limit there on how many you're allowed to kill. As we get into, oh boy, this level. Introducing Super Lemming. Look at this map, and look at the skills we're given. It seems pretty simple, right? Well... Oh. Never mind. This is just going to be a breather, because I guess the Super Lemming mechanic does not exist in NeoLemmix. I don't know if Proxima is still in here, but if so, can we get a little bit of knowledge on that? But basically... So, basically, this level is usually pretty much locked in fast forward mode, and you have to play it in fast forward. The game just runs faster during this level. And it's really hard as a result, because it's a test of reflexes, instead of being a tough puzzle or anything. But I think that just does not exist in NeoLemmix. So this is just kind of a freebie. Yeah, it's very unique considering this game is not really one that's overburdened with reflex-oriented stuff. There's definitely some reflex in Lemmings, but this is the only level in the game that is strictly reflex-based. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That if it's a philosophical thing that doesn't make any sense, well, that's perfectly fine, because I was pretty terrible at this kind of thing. And by the way, I will just inform you that that doesn't work. I like the idea too. Unfortunately, the folks at Cynosis did not, apparently. There we go. Nice and simple. I'll accept a pretty much free level. Alright, level 3 of Wicked. This Corrosion. Again, another one I saw in that one pack. This one is a little bit... I feel like this one's pretty easy, but again, keep in mind that I'm saying this as someone who has played this game a couple of times before, so I definitely recognize a couple of the levels. The big challenge, I guess, is just like, oh, you gotta remember to double build there. The red hook is... I guess it's just red because that's the way the graphics look. The graphical objects can be mirrored. But what I'm trying to say is that the solution here is a little bit on the the odd side, but it's not like super esoteric or anything. When you see what you have, it is a dead giveaway. Except for the part where you have to know to build through this to build up to this chain, otherwise the lemming just walks straight through it. And also to build over the exit, which we'll see in just a moment. But basically, it does kind of speak to a thing about level design philosophy in this game, where do you want more tasks to throw people off, or do you want less tasks to make as few backgrounds as possible? Where everybody goes by the left route. Ooh. There's a main thing that I'm learning from a lot of these streams is that there are a ton of additional routes and stuff through a lot of these levels that are not just the super obvious ones, and that is very cool because admittedly a lot of these don't lend themselves to stuff like that too much. I noticed, in fact, that we had an extra basher, so that could kind of help indicate that. And we get level 4 here, which is one of the ones that's very similar to another level that I really like. Oh no, it's the 4th dimension! Oh no, it's Devo! From that album was from 1982. And it was really weird. Like, I know I'm really not surprising anybody by saying, oh man, Devo did something weird. But the main thing that I remember about it that is making me say, oh yeah, that album was super weird, is the fact that there was a song on the album Oh No It's Devo, which was based on a letter that was sent to if I remember the story correctly on this one, and I'm not so sure that I do, that the letter was sent in to a guy who worked at a radio station, to a DJ, from a stalker. And the guys from Devo made a song out of it. Which is, like, all kinds of weird and icky sounding, and now just take a moment to think about the fact that Charles Manson also had a musical career, and on top of that, Charles Manson rather famously wrote a song for the Beach Boys. Well, I wonder how well known that is nowadays. And no, for the record, I've never heard anything Charles Manson recorded, by the way. He did actually record his own music. He wasn't just a songwriter. Well, I'm pretty sure it wasn't exactly a decision, but yeah, then Charles Manson, we all kind of know the story about Charles Manson. I'm doing this in a way that's definitely going to get a lot of lemmings killed. A lot of people would be really unhappy with me right now, but again, I don't 100% remember how this level works out. So I'm just sort of playing it by ear a little bit. And forgetting about the climber. Even though that fella is integral to getting this part done. Back up a frame or two. Right. Get yourself around. You should be good to go here. Send Lemmings up to for the top right. Yeah, you are absolutely right, and for some reason I forgot that this was a thing, even though I tried to do it on the last level. Whereas the thing that stonewalled me there was actually a steel wall, but... Oh, we're in a bit of a tight spot over here with these guys. Can we just build up through this? No, but we can get somebody stuck in a wall. That's always fun. Except the other thing. Alright, so let's try and do this a little bit smarter. Are they free on that side there? It actually looks like they've gotten free there. Surprisingly, yes. Alright, so we are going to build over the exit, but it's gonna be with the last guy on the left. Top left, specifically. For this reason. Alright, so we should be in a position where we can do this, right? There we go. Yeah. My first solution basically just didn't work. Alright, number 20. Chill out. This one is, like, pretty high up on my list of my favorite levels in the game, actually. It's a little on the silly side, but, well, you'll see why in just a moment. Oh, did I time that wrong? I'm pretty sure I timed that wrong. Alright, so the trick here is we get one lemming to absolutely... That's all I'm gonna go do is say, Absolutely make a monkey out of me here. Do this. Max out the release rates. Realize that our guy over there dug a little too low. You dug too deep. You awakened Cthulhu. Or something. Basically, the game kind of expects you to do that for much longer, but we upped our release rate nice and early. So now, this fella is off just doing the lone journey. You can't apply that climber until the turnaround. See, and I just really like that. It's simple. I screwed it up a couple of times, but it's a pretty cool solution. And, oh, fuck my life. Hey, look, it's Wild One come back to kick me in the back of the head. Pop till you drop. I don't know how much popping I have to do here. This is about as close to a reuse of a map as this game gets. But you can see here that they really do want you to pop a little bit. It's like a cereal commercial from the 90s. Gotta have my pops. Yeah, you can literally just cheese through this level like this and ignore about half of the lemmings, really. Deadly drop. I think that's just safe. Yeah, that's safe. Alright, so everybody's out. We don't have to do any more if we don't want to, but you know something? Y'all are here. You've been a nice audience. I'm going to try and save a few more of these lemmings. We're not going to get everybody, but we're going to get a decent chunk. Also, for fans of explosions, have another one of those. I know Michael Bay doesn't stream on Twitch, so I can't just tell you to go watch him. And that's like the extent of my movie-related comedy, because I don't watch a lot of movies. And the few that I have watched are stuff like Phantom of the Paradise and, you know, real cult hit type of things that I'm sure would go over super well. There would be like 2 or 3 people who would hear me make a reference to it and just be like, whoa, yeah, yeah, just be all over themselves with joy, and then the rest of everybody would just be like, what? And that's the hell of it. Let's check out level 7 here, last Lemming to Lemming Central. And we get to kill a slightly odd number of 8 compared to the number of tools we have for this job. So the lack of countdowns makes it much easier to engage in a particular type of solution here where we are basically just going to cut as close to the edge as possible. Nothing to do with the Yes album of the same name. And honestly, I didn't even need to do that, so I'm going to restart. We're going to get as close to... We're going to get as few killed as possible here, is what I'm saying. Well, I guess one is just going to basically be a required casualty, almost. Alright. Turn around up here. Alright, so that's not bad. We saved 74 when we needed 72. Again, another simple solution, another simple level that is honestly, like, kind of deep in here for how easy it is to hash out, but... And by 74, I meant 73, but okay. Number 8, a towering problem. This one is all about timing if you're on DOS, but as we are not, this is gonna be pretty much free. We just make these lemmings climb, and then we bomb them at the right place. In fact, this is going to be my cleanest looking version of this solution ever. Oh. That was not correct. As I'm sure you noticed. That's better. Alright, later, Bronco. Have a good one. Let's check out number 9. How on earth? This doesn't look that bad. I'm sure that we're not going to be asking ourselves that. We are, however... We're going to do things... Yeah, this is a pretty simple build-a-thon with just a bit of mitigation involved. And, again, just build out. But, again, we get to see where our builders go, so... That's hardly a challenge for us. As I definitely mentioned earlier in the stream, playing this on NeoLemmix defangs it hugely. The main if we're gonna have any issue here, it's gonna be a time press, but I think we're good on that one. This isn't that tight of a squeeze, time-wise. Let's fill that in. Let out those last 2 lemmings, and there we go. Nice and simple. They definitely wasted that level name a little bit. Level 10, Temple of Love. This is another one that I'm seeing like a lot of these levels are feeling like repeats to me because I saw a lot of them in Lemmings Redux. But there's still going to be the part where a lot of these are going to throw me for a loop because this one I remember being very, very involving a little bit of weird timing or something to get yourself on the go here. Although I could be wrong. My memory does quite regularly play tricks on me, and I think that's just a thing that a lot of us have to deal with. That, you know, we're just not necessarily made to remember these kinds of things as a species. And of course, making things worse, you get people who are like, oh, well, you don't remember how to... You forget things all the time? That's only something I do when I'm old. What's your excuse? Well, it's just the fact that you know, almost none of our current life is our current way of life as a species is natural at all, so you know. Okay. We're basically... At this point, the main thing we have to do is place a builder just right, I think. And that should... We should have enough... No, we don't. Fuck. That ain't good. Considering adding a talisman for saving 49. Ooh, I like that idea, I'm not gonna lie. I don't exactly like how this has turned out, though. Let's get us a restart. I have, like, some kind of mental vision here of going over the wall on the DOS version, but you can't do that here because in NeoLemmix, the top of the screen is a kill zone as well. Yeah, you can go over the bricks. I seem to have this memory of going over the steel, but that's not possible in this version, and again, it may be a completely fake memory that I just had trapped. That's just a blend of some other stuff that's trapped in my brain, because goodness knows, my head is usually full of all kind of weird stuff at any given moment of the day. Okay, so what I'm gonna try doing here involves doing something like this, which I don't really think is the way I need to deal with this, but if it's not, I will try a different method. Yeah, that obviously can't. Interesting. I need a moment here to figure this out mentally. I mean... Yeah, so you saw this as a kid by going over that part of the wall. I'm gonna try doing that. There should be a space that I can cut through from here down to there, and I should be able to like get a nice head start there. Alright, start climbing. More. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. And one bomber. Can that bomber break through the wall? No. That bomber cannot break through the wall. Can it? No. That's a little disappointing, but give me just a moment here. Think about this. There unfortunately isn't a thinner part of that wall. I've got 2 floaters. I should try doing things a little differently with this. Okay. Floater. Builder. Other builder. Climb, dig. I think that we're gonna not really have the world's greatest timing in this one, but we're definitely making an attempt here. Unfortunately, there isn't like a turnaround point, which would give me a much nicer amount of time to deal with this. Because otherwise what we have here is the floater dying. And that's not what we want, so we don't want to do this that early yet, I don't think. Do I know about the replay editor? I don't do a lot. I mean, I guess I've never really used it outside of just doing this stuff, so... yeah, no. It's... Speaking of, like, anything in that general area, is this the only level in this version of the game that uses, Can I please use a word here? Brain, would you like to give me a word? So, with that out of the way, we're going to start doing this part of things now. Oh, that's pretty neat. That's definitely not a thing I knew about. That's... pretty intense. Alright, now see, that guy gets up there, but I'm pretty sure that we're dealing with a single lemming here pulling that off, and that's noticeably too far to in the one direction there. Okay, that's better. now comes the part where we have a bit of a moment of truth here. And they lied to me. Wait, that's not how that works. Try hitting E. Alright, blocker. Okay, so if I just go here and I delete that, delete. Let's try doing this. I think that's going to put me over here. I mean, I think I know how to do this, but I'm definitely overcomplicating it. If there is a simpler solution to this, by all means, throw it at me, or even just a hint. What's worse is I could swear I've done it this way before. And, oops, that's the wrong button. That's the right solution. You just need to save a builder by using a different skill. What skill was I left with at the end? Let's get a look here. I've got a floater, a bomber, a blocker, and of course the one builder. So it's a two builder bridge no matter what, is what you're saying to me, right? There is no way for me to do this in one. So should I just block over here? I mean, I guess that's an option. I'll just do it that way. Yeah, that's fine, because that lemming is just gonna get put to work anyway. So we can block a little over there. Like, keep in mind that I forgot about the part where I forgot to do that for a start. But for a finish, I forgot that I'm going through this chunk of rock over here, this chunk of bricks. So I don't need to worry about having a blocker for over here. Build one. Alright. Yourself up to that edge. Again, let's really edge things out here. And really edging the audience here a little bit. Well, that's not a good thing to have happen. I think I dug a couple of pixels over there. And yeah, I could probably just use the replay editor for that, but I'll have to rewind anyway, so... Yeah, I know, a bunch of Chrono Trigger bullshit, right? Let's blow that up, and... there we go! Yeah, thank you for backing me up on that one. I forgot a very simple detail. What do we got here? Wicked number 11, Rocky Road. This one, again, is one that I saw recently because of that level pack I keep mentioning called Lemmings Redux. Alright, let's show our trap hitboxes here so that way we know how to not get eaten by a lizard. It's an important skill to know about in your day-to-day lives, by the way. How to not get eaten by a killer lizard. We only have one basher, and I think I would like to save that for up here. So I'm going to try, operative word being try here, and get on this tree. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. I've made that reference before. Mine through. I'm kind of doing something a little bit on the wasteful side by doing that. Build up to this rock. Mine to the rock. Get a little deeper. How about a little deeper? There you go. Right there. Do this. I am absolutely pushing my luck on these builders, by the way, in terms of how much of an allotment I can have. Our buddy gets over there. He does not get over that. So back it up, back it up, back it up. Here. We get really close to that deadly vine trap there. Can you dig it? I certainly can after this level. And there we go. That was one where I spent a lot of time, like, I'm probably going to have to redo huge chunks of this because I don't have the resources, but I ended up mostly just not having the time, as I noticed right there. Whoops. Well, alright. Replay. And try to figure out what is a better time to let everybody out. In fact, I can do this, right? Unfortunately, I can't quite do what I was thinking here of just mess with the order. I need something to let me enter frame numbers. Alright, should be digging now. Alright, once he breaks through... Well, he's pretty much broken through, he just hasn't landed yet. Again, gonna be a long walk, but I think that gives us just enough more time that we can at least get a few more in there. Oh, nice. There we go. W enters replay insert mode. Right, I remember that. Yes, that's a thing I remember. If it tries to do something that's impossible, it will just not do it, right? And here we get level 12 it was, right? I actually kind of blanked on that entirely. Suicidal tendencies. How will I laugh tomorrow when I can't even smile today? That song really, really messed me up and continues to do so. We don't have to place this guy very specifically. This one, however... This level is fairly simple, but because of that, that can make it incredibly cruel on the PC. And a little not necessarily fun. And I see a couple of these water objects being stacked in a slightly funky way. And I know you're thinking, that's water? And I assure you, it's a similar substance to... at least. Okay, so we skipped that entirely. And I think this one is actually a safe walk down. I feel like that's the case with one of the... No, it's not. Never mind. Disregard what I just said. My memory on the fine details of this is pretty poor. This, however, is pretty safe. We also get an extremely generous time limit for this, by the way. And of course, this is going to be an extremely deadly drop, so we have to mine over to this and then build over to the platform with the exit that's on a hook. Which is a nice little touch in terms of level design. That is a very, very simple level that is easy to screw up mostly because of this. At least they are, like, making everything at least a little bit... Oh. Yeah, there's enough hitbox there, right? Well, my bad. However, you gotta make sure you land on there. This is just the... I think that might have been unintended there, Proxima. But who can say? I'm not the developer. Let's do Wicked 13. I'll try and wrap up Wicked and then cut the stream for the night because Havoc will... There's one level in particular in Havoc that I'm thinking of very early on that is a lot of timing, so it would probably stretch this stream out significantly. And again, since Proxima is here, you can probably guess which one it was, especially when I tell you that it was a time press in Redux. Yeah, that level is mean as hell. And it was in the original too, so fair enough. It's not like, oh, you suddenly made it that much harder, which would be a huge throw off, but you know, I'm pretty sure that I can and should just do this differently here. They're not gonna walk past that. Okay, cool. In fact, I have made this a huge mess for myself. So I'm going to replay just to skip over a couple of parts here. Actually, wait a second. Why don't I just remove that from the replay? Oh, right, because it throws this off a little. That's fine. That's easily fixed. Wait a sec, is there a frame where I can get a turnaround there? Not really. Shit, that's annoying. 25 builders, I think I can save everybody's lives here. And unfortunately, we do get some turnaround because I did that a little too high up. I did that too high up this time. See, the thing is that now at this point, I'm kind of, like, goofing up the basics here. Getting a little caught up in the finer details of things. There we go. Again, I forget what the walker only hotkey is, so yeah. I guess we're doing things without it for now. Okay, yeah, we're coming up a little short there. Let's get all the way to the wall. This, and everybody go through. And so we've still got a little work to do here, but we are nearly there, and I am absolutely in a position where I'm like, wow, I wasted a bunch of time on this. I definitely could have done that better. Aside from even the part where I was just redoing some of the early steps for reasons that were kind of unnecessary. Also, I didn't even need to use those bombers because I had 3 blockers out. Hey, I have to use the nuke. That I'm certain is one that there is like 100% solution. Well, I could imagine there's a 100% solution for it anyway. The Lemming learning curve. This is a couple of steps down on that very concept, so this shouldn't give us too much trouble. This is one of those levels that's bizarrely easy in the middle of this difficulty. I don't entirely know why it's here, but okay. It's there because I screwed up and didn't and pressed that a little too late. I gotta remember I can assign skills in mid-air, and it will do the job just as well. And that's a little too early, right? Yeah, he's gonna hit steel. Alright, can we just get to the wall? Yes. Sometimes you just gotta readjust your positioning a couple of times, even on an easy level, you know? Not sure why a level this simple and with this much surplus is this deep into the game, but I'm not going to complain too much. Just be a little confused. Wicked 15, spam, 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 egg, and lemming. Ah, yes, Monty Python. We've had a moment where we referenced that earlier in the stream as well. This is the only level in this game, if memory serves, where you have to catch fallers. And we want to start doing that from further back. And we want to keep doing it. We gotta be careful because we are edging surprisingly close to that kill limit. Which we've already exceeded. Is this positioning even good enough to rescue these guys? Yes, it is. Okay, I think there's a faster and better turnaround here that I could do. Let me get a quick look here at where are we falling from. We're like a few pixels short of the drop distance, actually, so if we can do a nice quick turnaround, that would basically add a lot to our endeavors here. I'm sure that I need that miner, but we're gonna give this a try here. That's not high enough up. Alright, so we can do that. I think that's a drop straight into a pit, yes. Thank you for confirming, game. I'm backing up a little bit to before I started building to just get a little further ahead so that way I can make this in two. I shouldn't need that level of timing, but just in case. And excuse me. This last couple of lemmings out. I think we can burst the blocker after we start building the last bridge to the exit. Well, the first bridge to the exit, rather. And we should have an... Well, actually, that's not a long walk, really. I'll wait until after I build one more bridge. There we go. Yep. That one... That's interesting, because I don't remember this being the way to do that. But again, if it works, it works. Who am I to complain? Absolutely nobody, that's who. 5 alive. And they give you the solution. This is one... If you want some deep Lemmings lore for you, if I remember correctly, the name of this was changed in the Game Boy version to All Alive, which is extremely incorrect, but of course, they were trying to avoid any sort of potential copyright complaint with the manufacturers of the juice product 5 Alive, which I don't think 5 Alive juice exists anymore. But I haven't I haven't drank fruit juice in many years, with very few exceptions. So our first lemming is going to go do that. In fact, why don't we start that off much sooner? That's the wrong person to mine. That doesn't really even do what I want it to, either. Yes, this is one where I legitimately don't know the solution, by the way. Can't just do that as a quick turnaround. A bomber would give us a decent turnaround, but also we'd be getting that going much sooner than we need it to. And obviously, of course, we're going to be ending this with 5 live, as you've probably guessed. And that... Wow, that was super simple. I thought there was going to be more steps to it than just that. Alright, well, okay, that's nice and simple. I'll accept that. Alright, let's go on to number 17, Down the Tube. Anyone else remember Earthworm Jim going down the tube? Or down the tubes, rather. Okay, so that should give us... That's... Gotcha! Yeah, that would definitely be a quite understandable exclusion from Redux if it's a steel physics thing. Because, yeah, that is absolutely way simpler than I remember it being. And Down the Tube is another one that is, once again, thoroughly trivialized by being done in NeoLemmix, because there was a surprisingly big issue at the beginning in the regular version of the game with timing that builder. So, yeah, that one turned out to be quite easy, and it helps that it was in Redux, so it's fairly fresh in my mind. I did that less than a week ago, I think. Wicked number 18, lots more where they came from. This level is quite possibly one of my least favorite in the entire series. I very much do not like it, and you can see there's an icicle trap in there, and I don't think it's the only one. The main reason why I dislike this so strongly is because of this completely goofy architecture here. Look at that. You get a lot of that, and it's just kind of what I would call not fun. I mean, not entirely without its moments, but this isn't what I'd like to spend my life doing if I'm over here playing Lemmings. Alright, show me. Dark Lemmings, show me the forbidden, trap hitbox locations. Oh. Don't build into that. You can build into that. And, yeah, that's safe now. Yeah, you can see that there's a lot of turnaround points to account for in this level, by the way. If you're anyone who's paying serious attention to this right now, which... If you're gonna come in here and tell me you're not, I don't entirely mind too much. I kind of understand. This is the part where the fun commentary does die down a little bit, but for other reasons. And yeah, I know that I can just have a couple of sacrifices here. Oh, that's not completely closed. We should fill that in real quick. Assuming that actually will fill that in. It does not. That, I believe, will, though. But more importantly, they are stuck in here for the moment, and that's actually... That is, like, the best thing we could hope for at this point, is for this to be a nice trap for these guys, because that's, like, exactly what we need, and this, on the other hand, is not as nice of a trap, but... You know, sometimes these things are less simple than you... Get out of there! You goons. There we go. So after a lot of little one-frame rewinds and stuff, we managed to beat this with 100%. Really, really not a great level. Especially because, again, there's another hidden trap, too, if you're not playing this in NeoLemmix, and... Frankly, even if you are, you gotta have a good eye for that animation, because it's just a couple of pixels. Up, down, or round and round. This one is all about the super tight time limits. This is a real squeeze. And as you can see, yeah, going through the middle is not recommended, to put it nicely. However, I think that the vast majority of the pain of this level is going to be solved by using NeoLemmix, by the way, because a lot of this really is just, hey, when you send your lemmings, but also you have to do a couple of basically pixel-perfect builds here. And I definitely sent my lemmings too early, just to make that very clear. But we're doing what we can with what we have here. And we are allowed to let a very unusual number of lemmings get demolished here at 9. Why 9? We lost 3 in the great bottle cap device there of 1906. I believe it's possible to save 100% on this level, but we don't have to. So, again, we'll take it. Maybe someday I'll restream that with 100%. I don't know. The Lemming... Jeez, I'm sorry. The Lemming Funhouse. This level apparently wants me to die. We got 70 lemmings. We can kill 2. This is another one I've done recently because of Lemmings Redux. Let's see if I remember how this works. I'm going to go right ahead and say early on that I don't think I do. Yeah, this is not how you do it, and I don't remember what the walker only hotkey is, so... You know what? I got a smarter idea. do that. Yeah. Cap out that release rates. Going in the wrong direction. Alright, do we have... Can we get over this in 3? Delete. So let's delete that too. And in fact, just for the hat trick, we'll delete that. Jeez, why am I even doing a replay then? You ever just sit there and notice that you did so many things wrong that when you start trying to fix one, all the rest come out and it's just like, oh. This whole endeavor was a mistake. There we go. And that, I suppose, is the simple solution to that level. But I think that that is going to do us for today. And so, next time I stream this, we will be finishing Oh No More Lemmings with all of the Havoc difficulty. Have a quick look at Tubular Lemmings. In fact, let me go ahead and point at that hidden trap. It's just barely poking out. All right.